Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader, and before we get started here, guys, first of all, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. May 2026 provide you the progress in your trading that we all deserve. Okay, so we just want to wish everyone a happy new year before we start our session today. Okay, so as we begin our last day of 2025. Okay, so before we get started here, guys, we're going to go ahead and review our risk disclosure. So we'll go ahead and do just that. Okay, just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information is contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company and its partners, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk. An investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, let's see if that works. Sorry about that. Hopefully that's better. All right. We'll just we'll let that display there for a few seconds before we move on to the news portal. Hopefully everyone is having a start of a good day. All right. Let's now that I've gotten through, or hopefully you've had a chance here to kind of review the risk disclosure, we'll go ahead and move into our news portal, okay, and see what kind of news, and then we'll pause here for a moment. If we do indeed see, if I can get a 1 in chat to let me know, or yes in chat, if you do indeed see the news portal, that would be awesome. All right. There it is. Okay, awesome. All right, so given that this is the last day of let's see here, oops, just killed it. We'll try this again. Wow. All right, let's see. Bear with me here, guys. A little technical difficulties. All right, let's see if this will work now. All right, hopefully you guys can see my screen. Hopefully you guys can see my portal. All right, so given that this is the last day of 2025, we have a few reports that can impact the markets. All right, we have initial jobless claims, which came in under forecast here at they were looking for 218,000 new applications, and they end up getting 199,000. Continued jobless claims also came in under. They were expecting 1.9 million, and they ended up getting 1.866. Okay, so that came in under. I'm a little confused by this because I thought we had already received our EIA report a couple of days ago, but I could be mistaken. In any case, it appears that we're getting some sort of inventory report here at 10:30 a.m. today. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. Okay, so the good news is the good chunk of news that we need that could impact the markets are going to be already reported in the market. So that's a positive. So but we're always subject to some sort of headline risk of some sort that could impact the markets, but we don't have anything on the docket after these two reports outside of the EIA that could potentially move the markets. Okay. All right. So now that we've gotten through the news that could impact the markets. Good morning, Anthowell. Let's go ahead and take a look at or begin to take a look at our charts here. Okay. Let's see if I can bring these up. I think this is it right here. Okay, so looking at the charts here, we're going to go ahead and open up the full mini contract of gold here. I don't know if I had mentioned this, but we have added silver to the mix of charts that we will review as part of the session. So once we cover gold, we'll turn our attention to silver. Okay, I kind of consider gold and silver as kind of good pairs to kind of review as far as the metals, similar to what we do with the equities with respect to, say, ES and NASDAQ. Okay, so silver is to NASDAQ as GC is to ES is kind of how I've kind of landed. Okay, so we're taking a look here now at the daily chart of the gold, and outside of maybe the last few days, I probably would have told you that the market is in a very steady climb to the upside. Now, I don't know if it's because of the some adjustments that were made in tariffs or what was reported here that would have caused this sell-off, but we had a pretty significant sell-off here on Monday, right? That wiped out a lot of hopeful buyers here. Okay, over actually a week's worth of work here on the buy side. Okay. So now the question becomes: Is this the beginning of maybe a turn in gold? Okay, if so, then I don't anticipate that we will retrace much more than 50% of that candle, right? If this indeed is going to turn into maybe a rotation of the metals, okay, I wouldn't expect price to get above this, say, I'm just going to call it halfway. I'm just kind of eyeballing this, guys. Let's call it 44.60. Okay. That's the expectation. If this is truly sellers that have come into the market that are looking to drive the price of gold lower, then I would not expect price to get above 44.60 if this is indeed the case. Okay. All right. So market, like I said, has been bullish. We're starting, and again, this will become a little bit clearer here when we get into the lower time frame charts. But you can see here that maybe we are in the beginnings of developing a little bit of bearish structure here in this market. We have a little bit of an indecision candle here that's developing here at the last day of 2025. The question now becomes: Is this going to stay at this level? If so, then we need to be careful if looking for kind of trend opportunities today in the gold market. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, you can see that we've gotten some reaction away from the average daily range here on the upside. Right, we rallied up to the average daily range high, and we've reversed, and now we've come down to the average daily range low and reversed. So what is that telling me? Well, it's telling me that there's maybe a good likelihood here that we could remain in some sort of range to close out the session today. You do see that we are below some of our EMAs here. The one in particular I have drawn out here on the 4-hour chart is the 9, and then I believe the second line that we have here is VWAP. Yeah, VWAP. Okay. So again, looking at this, you can see that we are still very much in some bearish structure, right? We have not been able to cross above the 9 EMA, is an indication that we are still in a downside move here in these markets. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at the 30-minute chart. And we'll take a look at the 30-minute chart and see what the 30-minute chart is telling us. We're seeing obviously a little bit of overlap here on these moving averages and VWAP. Okay, looks like let's start off with the fixed range volume profile here. Okay, and let's take a look and see just that kind of supports my view of market sentiment here. So let's see. This is Wednesday. This is Tuesday. Let's start right about here. Take that to the close. Let's go all the way here. Okay, so you can see that price is below value from yesterday. Okay, indicating that we have a fair amount of sellers in the market. Okay, so fixed the price being below the volume profile from yesterday is an indication of bearish sentiment. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance here and see what it appears that we have maybe some sellers here in the market. So we'll take a look at that. We did make an attempt here to move the market higher, only to find some buyers at this kind of the low end of value from yesterday, and we were sellers pretty much for all the session, the remaining of the session, Asia session. Okay, until we got to average daily range low here. Okay, so all right, so again, Asia was relatively down. Okay, a lot of sellers in Asia. Moving into London. London appears to be a little bit different. Looks like it's trying to take this market a little bit higher, but it has not been able to get above. This initial balance range. Okay, has not been able to get above the initial balance range as of yet. Now it is working to get above it, right? And we do see that we've developed a little bit of a demand zone here right around the ADR low. Okay, this is a little bit of a demand zone. I'm going to go ahead and color that in a greenish color here. Okay, draw that in green if I can, maybe, if it'll allow me. Oh, it doesn't want to color into green. Maybe because of the opacity. There it is. Okay, there it is. Okay, so you can see that price has reacted away from that level. Okay, indicating that there is maybe some demand around this 43.10 level. All right, we are beginning to work our way above the 9 EMA. We are working our way above the 9 EMA and the VWAP. All right, so that could indicate that maybe at least on the shorter time frame, that we maybe are developing a little bit of in the way of some structure, maybe to the upside. Now, we were talking about this and when we were working with the daily, and I had mentioned that 43.60 was going to be an important level here. Okay, 43.60 is kind of midway of that daily candle. It'll be interesting to see, and I don't know if it doesn't seem like I have that line here. It'll be interesting to see if price is able. Maybe it's a little bit higher. Oh, it's 44.60. Not 43.60. My apologies. Okay, so that we have a level above, right, that could serve as resistant, but quite a bit of path to get to that level. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing there. Okay, still a fair amount of distance here to the ADR high here, up at around 4,400, 4,405. Would not be out of the realm of possibility, and it would be aligned with my view right now of this market that's maybe in some sort of range of maybe price maybe taking a peak here up at 4,400 or 43.96 before it's all said and done today. Okay, and that ADR high, or the ADR, the average daily range, is aligned with that view. All right, but we do have some areas here that could pose maybe a little bit of maybe against that view, right? So we have this 43.78, 43.80 could pose, and that's also around the 100% extension of this initial balance range that we have here on the right-hand side. Let's go ahead and open up the initial balance range for the day session and see what kind of developing initial balance range we're starting to develop here. Okay. So relatively narrow range. Okay. Giving us kind of the indication that it won't take too much, right, effort, right, from either the buyers or the sellers to drive price away from this area, right? Now, if I draw this, you can see that we are beginning to break. Draw my channel. You can see that we're beginning to break some structure here to the upside. So, assuming that we can hold above this bearish trend line, it could has the potential of offering us maybe an opportunity back to some of these highs above us. Okay, would not be out of the realm of possibility here, and still be in some sort of range in this market on the lower end of the daily range. Okay, so headed into the session, I would say I'm probably at this moment just looking at the 30-minute chart mainly, and the sort of the indecision that we're seeing on the daily. I'm going to say that we're maybe ranging, right? Maybe ranging, consolidating to maybe bullish. Okay, at this maybe we have a bullish leg here that will take us back up to the ADR high here. So neutral to bullish in the gold market. Okay, let's go ahead now. And as I mentioned, we're kind of adding the silver to our list of markets that we're going to reviewing going forward. And let's see what silver has to say. My expectation is probably going to give us a similar kind of viewpoint, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case here. Okay, so you can see now that silver, after its long run, long run to the upside, has now kind of found an area of consolidation. Okay, so we have kind of an equal number of bullish and bearish bars here in this market, right? So overlap, we had a very strong bearish candle, engulfing candle, only to find a bullish response on the very next day. And today we have another bearish candle that's developing. Okay, so the market still to me, I would say is still bullish, but maybe we are beginning to look. It appears to me, I'm kind of looking to see if there's any other times where we've been in this kind of structure here in the past. This is kind of a unique kind of structure, right? We kind of have this kind of little diamond pattern, okay, that's forming on this I guess kind of I can share what I'm seeing here, right? It's kind of right, something like this, which I don't know exactly what to make of, right? I kind of contain it in this kind of shape here, right? So I really don't know what to make of this, other than the fact that we have a lot of overlapping candles, and indicating that there is a little bit of indecision. There's a little bit of a battle going on around the 78 to 71 level. Okay, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now, and I really don't know exactly what to make of it. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we'll turn off our ADR here for a moment and maybe turn it back on once we get to the 30-minute chart. And also we'll turn off our initial balance. Okay. All right. So here we are. So this looks a little bit normal for me. Okay. So we have this kind of pattern, right? A little bit of a descending wedge pattern that's developing, right? So the question now becomes, is this right? Is this going to continue to consolidate in this range until we get to the apex, at which point we could expect a move that maybe will have the magnitude of, say, 9 points, okay, in either direction, either a 9-point move down or a 9-point move up. Now, we are in the process at the moment. It appears that we are developing a little bit in the way of maybe a little bit of a double bottom or maybe a triple bottom pattern here in this market, right around this 71,675 level. We see that price is below our VWAP and below our 9 EMA, kind of coiling inside this descending triangle. All right. So let's take a look now at the 30-minute chart and see what the 30-minute chart has to say. So again, you can see that price is, having obviously a little bit of a difficult time getting below this 74.30 level at the moment, right? Every time we've come down to this level, We've gotten some reaction, but we haven't really been able to move away from it either. 72 appears to be some level of resistance. We see that price is below our VWAP, right? Below our VWAP, and kind of struggling around our 9 EMA. So until we get maybe with something a little bit more conviction in either direction, it's probably best to kind of wait on the sidelines and let the participants decide on that. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at our fixed range volume profile, and let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's value range. And so we'll take a look here and close. Okay, similar to what we saw in gold, you can see that we have a fair amount of sellers in this market. Price is below this value range, and I would expect that this range up above could serve as maybe some future area of resistance in price. Okay, right around this 74,830 level, I would expect that whatever participants drove price through this area will probably be back at this. This will be the first time we come back to this level. This area right here, around 74,830, could offer us maybe a location, maybe to take on a opportunity to maybe look for something along those kind of lines. Okay, or at least back to the lows again. And that would kind of support this kind of range kind of view that we have of the market at the moment. All right. Let's go ahead and kind of compare the, let's open up our ADR. I'm getting a bunch of reports here to alerts here to do something. And let's open up first of all, I want to open up our ADR, see where we are with respect to ADR. Okay, so we've broken the range to the downside. So there's telling me that there's a fair amount of strength here to this downside move, but you can see that we're losing a little bit of momentum to the downside, right? So we've broke, and then now we are seeing a lot more in the way of overlap, possibly maybe building up a position for a rally in the market. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance range across the various markets. All right, starting with the Asia session. Okay, so Asia, we got a nice little extension to the downside. We reached and exceeded the what appears we got down to 200% extension. Actually exceeded the 200% extension all the way down to the maybe 250 or even 300% extension of this initial range. So a fair amount of sellers in Asia. Taking a look at the London. London doesn't seem to know what to do with this market right now. Right now, we are inside some sort of range. So London did not tip their hand as to which direction they want to take this market. They seem quite satisfied to be inside this 70.50 to 71.95. Okay, they seem quite content to remain in this range. But still, I would say, obviously, during Asia, we have a fair amount of sellers in this market. Would not surprise me in the least. Right? If you can see this kind of this jaggedness that we see in this volume profile, would not surprise me if we did spend some time here, right? We did spend a little bit of time here, kind of filling in this range here. Okay, kind of right, to kind of balance out this volume profile that we see in the right. So I'm kind of aiming a little bit for maybe a little bit of a repair day today during the silver session. Okay, given the kind of jaggedness that we see in the volume profile, just to kind of even this volume profile here a little bit. Okay, so maybe a little bit of a grinding kind of price action to the upside today in the silver market. So again, similar to the gold, I'm going to say neutral to bullish. Okay, but I still need to see some more evidence that there is there will be some participants to help drive this market higher. Okay, let's now that we've gotten through the sort of the metal complex, we'll go ahead and take a look at the crude oil market. Looking at the crude oil market, looks like the crude oil market is caught in a little bit of a bid here. Let's take a look here on the daily chart. Let's turn off our ADR. Let's turn off our initial balance and see what we can make of all this. Okay, so here we are. Turn off my drawings here. 14 drawings all gone away. All right, so we did take a peek below. We got to this 55 level and we reacted away from it. Now we are again. If I all I'm looking at this these set of candles. Well, I'm sure you would agree with me that we are. It would appear to me. It appears to me that we're beginning to develop some structure to the upside. The question remains, can we get above 58.50? Okay. If we can get above 58.50, okay, if we can get above 58.50, that would lead me to that maybe I can have maybe I can use 58.50 as a little bit of a springboard for a move back to maybe 60. Okay, that's the next logical area. Again, I'm just kind of taking this piecemeal, right? I'm looking to the left every time I'm moving to the right with the price candles. I'm looking to the left. So if I can get above 58.50, I have a reasonable chance of getting to 60. If I get above 60, well, then I have these two levels above me, right? I have 60, 61, right? 61 is my next level of resistance. So these are my visual targets. These are my visual targets for crude oil on the daily chart because it does appear that I'm developing a little bit of bullish structure in this market to the upside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart, you can see that price is beginning to get above some of the EMAs that we care about. We had a nice run here last Thursday to the upside, found some sellers, but the sellers were not able to take it back all the way. So indicating that there is a little bit of strength, right? We actually stalled right at the breakout point now, and that area is now supportive, right? We see that there's evidence of support here at 56.78. All right. So and like I said, we haven't really broken some structures to the upside, but you can see, right, every little dip that we've taken has been bought up. Okay. So again, another area here I'm going to mark is this 57.80 level. All right. Another area of support. Now, again, if we are going to continue in the upward direction, we need to break 58.50, right? If we are going to continue in the upward direction, 58.50 needs to be broken. Otherwise, we could remain in this range, right? And then maybe look for a break of 58, right? 58.75. Oh, no, sorry, 57.75, right? Right now, we're in a very tight range, 57.75, 58.50. Okay, until which of these sides is going to get broken first? We'll have to wait and see. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. All right, 30-minute chart. Again, you can see that we are beginning to get some evidence here that price is kind of beginning to firm up here. Price did cross above our 9 EMA. Also in that process, crossed above our VWAP. You see that price is above settlement. Okay. Now, it would not surprise me if 58.50 does indeed hold, okay, which has the possibility of doing that we could come back and revisit 58.05. That would be more of the range hypothesis, meaning that we can't break above 58.50. We start to kind of, rotate, right? And where could we rotate to? Well, I would say it would be reasonable for price to rotate back to settlement, okay, right around this 58 level or 58.24, okay? So we have a couple of visual targets below us. We have a main visual target here that we need to kind of work our way above if we have any chance of continuing in this bullish structure, 58.50. Otherwise, we can continue to remain in this range, 58.50, 57.78. Right? That's kind of what I'm looking at. We have kind of an intermediate level here at 58, right? All right. So again, let's take a look at the initial balance ranges. And we're going to go ahead and open up ADR. Looks like I would say it looks like we've reached the ADR high. Okay, so that's kind of giving me an indication that maybe we rotate lower from here. Right? So every time we've kind of reached the ADR high in the past, we've rotated lower. So this could be just merely a rotation back to some of these lows here. in today's market. Let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance ranges and see. And it doesn't seem like we have really a committed direction, although I just saw London looks like it's pretty strong to the upside. Asia, let's see. Let's take a look at Asia. Asia was pretty much neutral. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can expand this here a little bit. Right, so Asia explored both sides of the range. Right, we got a nice push to the upside. Really didn't give us an opportunity to participate in that upside move. Only for the market to sell off. Right, so we got up to not really even halfway, a little maybe slightly above this 50% of this candle here, and we rotated back to the downside. We got down to this 57.70 level, and during the London session, and said, you know what? Thank you very much. I love adding positions to my position here at this level, and we've accelerated to the upside. Now, again, right now, right? If again we're looking at just on the London side, we have a fair number of buyers here, right? So the question now becomes, can we hold above this 9 EMA? Can we hold above the VWAP? Problem is that we're up at ADR high. So we really don't have, from a statistical point of view, necessarily any room to the upside unless we can break above this 58 level, okay, or 58.50 in particular. If we break above 58.50 and hold, then maybe that offers the 58.50 will offer us an opportunity for an extension. But right now, we're with this development of this bearish engulfing candle, preceded by a candle that with a selling wick, it's probably given us maybe a little bit of an indication that maybe we want to explore price lower. Okay, so I'm going to go with kind of a consolidation day, a range day in the crude oil market. All right, I'm seeing evidence of both. Right, seeing evidence of selling as well as evidence of buying. So I'm just going to say that we remain in range. So I would say range rules apply, meaning that if I'm going to sell this market, I want to sell that at extremes. If I want to buy this market, I want to buy at extremes, and I don't want to be a participant of this market in the middle. All right. Let's go ahead and just take a peek here at the initial balance range for the day session, since we are technically open. So you can see that we had developing a bearish candle here. So it'll be interesting to see how strong this candle closes. And this candle could serve as kind of a mini initial balance range. If we get a break and hold, we could get a rotation back to 57.70, certainly back to 58, and whatever the settlement price is here. If I have settlement, let's open that up. Yeah, settlement down here at basically 58, 57.95. Okay, would not be out of the realm of possibilities here in this market. So that's kind of what I have for you for the crude oil market. All right, kind of taking a peek here at my like indicator. Like indicator is still a little bit light on the likes. So I'm just going to put on my little marketing hat here. First of all, I want to thank those who allowed me to reach my goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers. I managed to get to 1,000 subscribers to close out the year. So I want to thank those who made that happen. But now I need to see how I can increase the viewership, meaning view time. Okay, need to see how I can increase that to the time that people spend on the portal. So I will be putting together some videos on various indicators. One that is maybe a little bit overdue, that I did yesterday with respect to the DMI indicator, which is this indicator here on the bottom. We'll be creating some educational material here at the start of the year to kind of support you in your journey and your analysis of the markets. Okay, yes, we did get there. Thank you, and thank you for your support there. So now that I've gotten through that, and I managed to secure one more like from that. I will go ahead and move on to the equity markets, because I know that a fair number of you trade the equity markets. We'll start off with the daily chart. We'll turn off our initial balance and our, let's see, ADR here for a moment. So what can I say about this market? Well, it looks like a market that continues to be in some sort of range. Okay. We see that it seems to be following this trend line. Okay. If I draw a little trend line, something like this, right? We seem to be in some sort of symmetrical triangle pattern here. Okay. So as we get closer to the apex, as you guys know by now, right, that this is the magnitude of the move that I'm expecting. Is that going to be to the upside? If so, that's going to take us, it's going to take us up to 28,000. Okay. Right. We have kind of we have a consolidation pattern that is, how you say, pointed upwards. Okay. Now, if we have a little bit of a sell-off in this market, well, the sell-off could reach 23,000. Okay. So that's kind of what this triangle pattern, and that's kind of how I use this triangle pattern. I can't necessarily speak to necessarily the direction, although price has been sloping higher, which maybe gives a little bit of an edge here to the upside. We also have to expect that maybe there is a possibility that the market could rotate, right? Could falter up here at the highs, because we are indeed having some difficulty getting above 26,000. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we're developing a little bit in the way of a bullish candle here. I don't know if that's maybe a premonition for what's ahead of us in today's session, but we do see that we are developing a bullish candle, right? That's maybe breaking the hearts of some of our maybe potential sellers of this market. This one single candle has wiped out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candle or 5 4-hour candles worth of selling. So if we do manage to close above, then maybe we take maybe we do make an attempt at reaching some of these highs. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of a kind of a Fibonacci. I like using Fibonacci when I have a kind of clear structure here, and I'm just going to take the lows here, take it back to the highs, and this is kind of establishing as a low. Well, it's kind of forecasting that we could potentially get to 26,183, okay, and possibly as high as 26,570, okay, right, which takes us slightly above the new highs, right, assuming that this candle does indeed close as strong, okay, over the next 45 minutes. Right? This gives us an indication that basically it's kind of a measured move of this swing here, okay? Which possibly could be a nice thing to see as the markets close out the markets, as portfolio managers are closing out the books and encouraging their clients to maybe continue to provide some additional cash into investing further in their portfolios. Okay. So a couple of statistical targets or mathematical targets based on math here on the daily chart, on the 4-hour chart. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay. So again, you can see here that we have a little bit of a rounding bottom. Right. We've broken above that little pattern that I drew here. Probably need to adjust this here a little bit with this here, right? So this would say that we haven't really broken it. Okay, is that we still have some room to go here to get above this level. We do see though that price is above our 9 EMA, sloping to the upside. We do see that is above our VWAP, and we have managed to cross above our settlement. These are all kind of bullish indicators. Okay. Taking a look at our DMI indicators, which I'm going to be doing a video on this here shortly, right? You can see that our positive DI is well above our negative DI. Our negative DI is sloping to the downside, and our ADX is starting to curl to the upside with a reading of 31. So again, indicating to us that there's a fair amount of momentum in this current move here to the upside. All right. Taking a look at our fixed range volume profile, just taking a look and seeing where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. So we're going to go ahead and start with these set of candles here and cross this over to the close here of yesterday. Okay, so you can see that we're back inside value. All right, we managed to get back inside value. We had a fair number of bears in this market, and once we got into London, looks like London was I guess a little bit of a cat and mouse game going on between Asia and London. Right, Asia was down on the market, and London said, "Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take this market higher." All right. Now we are up against some areas, right? These are resistance areas. This is a prior. This is Monday's settlement price. So that area I would expect to be somewhat resistant because we see that price has been resistant there in the past. We still seem to have some room here to the upside, right? Statistically, we have our average daily range up here at 25,777. Okay, so there's still some room there. But we are coming into an area where we found some sellers in the past. Market structure continues to be bullish. Settlement has been exceeded. Still some room here to the upside. So let's take a look here at the initial balance ranges. Okay, just to confirm kind of my view that I had mentioned that Asia was lower and London was higher. Let's take a look here at Asia here. All right. And we'll start off with the Asia session. And as I mentioned, Asia was technically lower. Okay. We got a little bit of a push down to the 100% extension, initially in range, but did eventually push lower. London appears to be a lot more bullish on the NASDAQ. You can see here, right? We got a nice push to the upside and really nothing. Again, no real retracement on that move, right? It's been a steady, sustained move to the upside. Now we are a little bit extended, I would say, a little bit extended above the 9 EMA and above our VWAP, right? So, seeing if price provides us maybe a little bit of a pullback so that we can maybe participate in this move to the upside would be something that I would be looking for. Otherwise, I would say that headed into the market, I cannot deny the fact that the market has at least inside some sort of bullish leg at the moment, right? As long as price remains above and as long as price remains inside this channel, then I would have to say that the market NASDAQ is bullish, okay? And then I would be looking maybe at these levels above me, 25,800. Above me is this ADR high. We have this level around the value area high here at 25,750. That could also pose maybe as an area where we might see some sellers potentially step into this market. But nonetheless, I would say that right now, at this moment, market looks somewhat bullish. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the ES. Looking at the ES, we're seeing the same kind of bullish price action. Here, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my ADR, turn off my initial balance, and take a look and see what this is doing. Now, this is a little bit different than what we saw in the NASDAQ. While we saw NASDAQ kind of coily, ES appears to be a bit stronger. We managed to break structure to the upside here on Tuesday of last week. Now, we had a couple of days of maybe some bearish price action, but now this area, we're getting a little bit of reaction away from this area here at 69, what was that? 69.30. Okay, so 69.30 appears to be, at least for now, showing maybe some, not only was it a resistant area in the past, but now it could serve as maybe a supportive area. So 69.30, right, is looking rather bullish to me. Okay. And I would say that the ES on the daily chart is looking a little bit stronger than what we're seeing in the NASDAQ, because I feel that the NASDAQ is still kind of coiling inside that triangle pattern that we talked about earlier. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. Again, we have that developing 4-hour candle, kind of wiping away maybe some of the dreams that maybe some sellers had on this market. right? With this single candle, we wiped out 1, 2, 3, 4, not, well, actually 3 4-hour candles. Okay. In the next 40 minutes, we'll see if this candle closes as strong or whether this 69.60 level proves to be too much, okay, for this market. All right, I'm going to mark that level as resistance because I can see that there's a lot of overlapping price there. 69.60, 69.30 is kind of the range that we're in at the moment. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, again, if I'm just looking at these set of candles, right? If I'm just looking at these set of candles, the only thing I can tell you is it appears that we are in some sort of bullish price action at the moment. If I open this up a little further, okay, well, there's our 69.60 level. We have kind of maybe an intermediate level here at 69.52, but that's our next logical destination for this current train that we're on, this bullish train that we are on the ES. Okay. And then after that, 69.60, then we start to get to maybe settlement price from the prior day right here up at 69.80. So those are a couple of levels to target. Right now, the immediate one that I'm looking at is 69.60. Can the market get to 69.60 today? Okay. Because right now it looks like it's hovering right around the point of control. And this is obviously not the best color to have, black. So we'll modify this, change this to red. Okay. So you can see that price is right up against our point of control here. All right. Now, point of control, again, in a trending market, I feel if I was on the other side of this, I would say that this could be maybe a nice bullish location. But now that we're coming in from below it, it could offer us maybe a location for price to rotate lower. Okay. That's the possibility here, right? Because we are a little bit extended. We are a little bit extended to the downside, upside, I should say. And, having a little bit of retracement back down to the 9, back down to the 9 EMA, maybe, I'm not sure. This is the midnight time frame, right? This is kind of the midnight time frame, right? So I don't know if Marie is in the room here, but if Marie is here, well, that could also be a destination for this market right around 69.35. And that would be the time, basically the midnight price, Eastern time. Okay. So this could be another area where price could reach. Another target. All right. That's the midnight time. That happens 70% of the time. Price opens above and comes back and revisits this midnight time before it makes its next leg. And that would be aligned with where we have VWAP and the 9 EMA. Okay. So, again, I would say heading into the session, I would say, market of late has been a bit on the bullish side, certainly during London. I am looking for a little bit of a pullback, honestly, in order for me to really participate to the upside. I can't really participate in an upside move when I have this kind of candle that I have to deal with, okay, in order to serve as my risk. So I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback, ideally back to maybe 69.40, possibly as low as 69.35, and maybe use that area as an area for maybe a rally into the close of the day and into the close of the year. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Dow before we kind of make our final pass across all the markets. We'll start off with the daily. The daily is kind of taking the form of kind of what we were seeing a little bit with the the NASDAQ. Okay, this doesn't look quite as bullish as I was saying on the. Although we do have kind of an ascending wedge here, right? This is kind of what I'm drawing. Pretty strong wedge pattern here to the upside, right? But it is, you see a lot in the way of overlapping price. Bullish price action, a lot more in the way of overlapping prices, right? Indicating that we might be in some sort of range. Taking a look at the 4-hour. 4-hour, again, there's our 4-hour candle that's developing and maybe wiping out some of the dreams of some sellers here. Okay. We'll have to see how this 4-hour candle closes in the next 45 minutes or so. Okay. Or actually a little further than that. A little less than that, I should say. We'll have to see how this candle closes and then whether it provides us maybe an opportunity right around this 45,556 level for maybe a move to the upside, right? This is kind of what I'm probably going to take this here. I'm going to adjust this down here a little bit. Use this, focus my attention on this. So if we can get a break of channel to the upside, maybe that offers us an opportunity for a leg higher. Taking a look at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, again, we're kind of hovering above our settlement price. We see that price is above our 9 and above our VWAP, kind of giving us some indication that maybe there is maybe a possibility for price to continue higher here, okay? We've been in some bearish structure here of late. We've broken some structure here to the upside of late as well, looking at the 30-minute and on a larger time frame. Oops, didn't want to do that. Did want to do this, though. I want to remove that one. Okay, so you see that we've broken some structure here to the upside. Now price is above our 9, above our VWAP. Taking a look at our fixed range volume profile, starting with the start of the session here into the close. Okay, right about there. Okay, you can see that we're back inside value. Okay, so that could indicate that we could remain in value, maybe up to the highs of the day here at 48,705. I would not rule that possibility out here, but we are back in range. Taking a look at the initial balance ranges across, let's go ahead and open up ADR. ADR looks like we have room to in both directions, either to the upside here at 48,854. We kind of reacted away maybe from the downside here at 48,515. So, we definitely have range for movement here. Taking a look at the initial balance ranges across the various markets here. Taking a look at Asia to start. Asia was slightly bearish. Okay, we got to the 50%, maybe a little bit further, slightly bearish. And London came in, and much like all the other equity markets, said, okay, I like this 48,570 level, and broke price above this initial balance range. So so various levels of bullish price action, I would say, across all the equity markets. Okay, I would say that ES to me seems to be the strongest because it's coming off of daily levels. But let's go ahead and just to kind of summarize, let's go ahead and take a peek across all the markets here one last time on the 30-minute chart and see what's kind of brewing here, okay? So we got an extension here on London, okay, to the upside. Now the question is going to be, can price hold above 43.4450? If it can't close above 43.4450 and we close back inside the initial balance range, that gives us evidence that maybe we rotate all the way down to 43.15. Okay, so very important level for the bulls to maintain if they have aspirations for price to head higher. Silver in a similar situation. Did try to make an attempt here to get above this initial balance range for London. So far, it has failed. Okay. We have a wick, and it appears that maybe it's going to remain in this range for a little bit longer. Okay, so a little bit of weakness here in the silver, right? Similar to what we're seeing weakness wise in the gold, but it did not even manage to get above the initial balance range for London. All right, crude oil showing some signs of bullish behavior, right? We're kind of responding away from VWAP, responding away from the 9 EMA. Unfortunately, we're up against the ADR high here. So that's maybe a little bit of word of caution here. But assuming that we can get above 58.50, then there's certainly a possibility that I can use 58.50 maybe for a continuation move here to the upside. But I do need to see price get above 58.50, all right, in order for that to happen. And then across all the other equity markets here, again, we're seeing some bullish price action, okay? but we are coming into some areas that where we could find some sellers. We've been bullish all the way during the entire London session. Now we've reached the 200% extension, and we know how we've talked about how this 200% extension often provides us a little bit of a zone for reversal in price. So that's something that we need to keep in mind here. Okay, so bullish, right? But we are coming into some areas where we might see some bear or sellers step in. Okay, taking a look at the ES. ES, again, similar to what we're saying on the NASDAQ, showing some signs of bullish price action, well above our London session here. Still appears to have some room here to the upside in this market. But what I'm concerned about is this area here. Okay, this area congestion could offer some resistance to future price move to the upside. And then last but not least, the Dow. The Dow again showing similar signs of some bullish price action right up against our point of control. Also coming into some areas where we could see a little bit of resistance to future advancing price. Again, if I'm bullish, I'd like to see price come back to a level where I can participate. Okay, in this market to the upside. Not really keen on buying at the highs. I do need to see a little bit of bearish activity here, a retracement of sorts before I'm willing to participate. Okay, guys. So I think that's pretty much it for me. So again, I want to thank everyone again for a very successful 2025. I would say in many ways, I do appreciate each and every one of you and for your support and participation in this session. Hope to continue to expand this channel and hope to expand in 2026. And I'd like to make each and every one of you part of this journey that I'm having. So thanks again. Wish each and every one of you a happy 2026, and may today's session end with a very successful day of trading. So we'll go ahead and close off this session as we close most sessions, and that is trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Have a very happy new year, and I'll see you in 2026. Until then, happy trading.